We're going to go into our presentation with Michael Love. Michael Love was born in Brooklyn, New York, and moved to San Diego at the age of 15. He taught mathematics at Mount Miguel High School for 27 years, from 1993 to 2020. He has served as a workshop presenter at numerous events throughout Southern California. He has been recognized for teaching excellence by numerous organizations, including being chosen as a San Diego County Teacher of the Year for 2010 and a 10 News Lead San Diego Community Spotlight Awards finalist in 2017. Mr. Love holds a bachelor's degree in behavioral science and a master's degree in education counseling. He is a lover of baseball, jazz, and rhythm and blues. Together, he and his life partner, Emmanuel Lepard, combined have 6 children and 12 grandchildren. We will present on forming the bonds of friendship. Please welcome Mr. Michael Love.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you on Race Amity Day today and to share my thoughts. And being that it deals with friendship, we're centered in love and friendship today. I've called in an expert to talk about this from across the country. My dear brother, Reed Scher, who's on the screen now as well, graduated from Brooklyn College and has a master's degree of social work from NYU. He moved up to Maine in 1981. He has served as the director of Maine's mental health and hospital licensing programs. He's worked for national accrediting bodies. He's presented nationally on quality improvement, has been the CEO of 2 nonprofits, and developed the first comprehensive residential treatment program for sex trafficking survivors in New England. So I'm going to welcome my dear brother, Reed Scher, to join me on this. How are you doing today, Reed?
I'm good. I listened to that, and that sounds so stuffy. I'm still that 10-year-old in Canarsie.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little while, okay? Basically, what I've done is I prepared a presentation which speaks to what I believe friendship centers in. And what I believe is that race amity friendship is reflected in a number of conscious choices and decisions that are made over a period of time that center in a belief system that respects and centers love upon you and other people. I'm going to open up a slideshow now, if I can share my screen, and talk through what I hope to share with you today, while also being respectful of time.
Mike, if you can make him a co-host, I think.
Okay.
He should be. He should be.
Okay.
That's good because I wasn't sure how to do that, so thank you. So let's see if I can get this up and open this. Move it to the side and share. And I'm hoping that you can see my screen. Is that good?
Got it.
Great, great. So here we go, forming bonds of friendship. What I have are a number of slides and thoughts, and Rita and I are going to double team, tag team this until we get to the very end when we'll speak from the heart. So I'll ask you if I start to get close on time, please let me know so we can make sure to get to the end of our presentation and be respectful of your schedule. I had to look up amity, and it told me that amity is friendship and peaceful harmony with a mutual understanding and a peaceful relationship, especially between nations. And I felt that was important. And I don't know what your audience is today, but if there are young people here or young adults who need some motivational memes and graphics, friendship is deeper than gossiping and drinking and just socializing. It centers on who you can go to breakfast with, make friends you can cry with, make friends who support your life goals, and make friends who believe in you. So Reed, like I told you, if you want to jump in with anything here, feel free to do so.
Sure.
Is that a yes for now or yes in a minute?
Oh, yeah, I'm good for now.
Okay.
Oh, God.
He's on the East Coast, and he's ahead of us time-wise. I'm always behind this man. So some
Yeah, and you spared me the embarrassment of not saying that I was ready to go at 2:20 Eastern time. So
okay, I wasn't
there
ready.
you go.
Okay.
We've survived that all these years.
Yes, we have. We'll talk about that later too. But some synonyms for amity, when I think of my close friends, words on this list that come up are benevolence, goodwill, harmony, togetherness, and with Reed particularly centered in same wavelength. Reed and I can not touch base for a while, which doesn't happen often, but whenever we do, we get right back. It's like we've picked up a conversation that we had 5 minutes ago, and the feelings stay strong. We stay on the same wavelength, and I really like that last term, simpatico. Reed, anything on this list jump out at you?
Yeah, the same things. I mean, it's just a gift. You know, you have a lot of those words describe something, but really the same wavelength and simpatico. It's a deeper connection than just the words or the things, you know, you share. It really is, we can go long periods of time and just feel like we jump back into a decades-long conversation. Plus the fact, the sensibilities. I mean, our sensibilities, which sort of underlie some of those concepts, are remarkably the same. I mean, I can almost count on one hand the number of times we've disagreed about something. It's just, you know, how you see the world and how you take in the world. And that gives you the graphic. An honest answer is the sign of true friendship, because the honest answer is built on all of those concepts.
You know, you just made a major point when you talked about disagreement, and our disagreements tend to be minor because we're centered in the same place. And I can't tell you how many times we've talked about something and I've had one mindset and you've shared a little different perspective, and I kind of go, hadn't thought of that. You know, didn't think about that. Makes sense. So I'm glad you brought that up.
And I've had the same reaction. I mean, it happens so often.
Yeah. Our experiences together are stronger than they are apart. Definitely. This part I found was critical. Friendships and relationships take time and effort. They must be nurtured, maintained, and never taken for granted. And to really improve and center your friendships and make sure they're, what I would say, in a strong place, try bouncing ideas off or reaching out to someone who appears most unlike you. You might find out some falsehoods in your own thinking and your own belief system that need to be smoothed out a little bit, okay? We all have our rough spots, and you might be pleasantly surprised. Some of the best friendships I've made in this lifetime have been with people whose experiences were unlike mine, whose experiences were different, and we both learned something valuable from each other.
Yeah, it's that learning. I now am sort of semi-retired, and I work at a Starbucks. And I'm 66 years old, working with teenagers in early 20s. And it amazes me how much I've learned from them and how much they appreciate that. I've been exposed to a whole world that I wouldn't have had I stayed sort of in my professional circle and in my local circle. And it's an incredibly pleasant surprise.
Yes, our young people are teaching us a lot these days. So does this mean you have a Snapchat and an Instagram yet, or are you still holding out?
I have an Instagram. I don't have a Snapchat. And the day that I get TikTok, you need to send help.
Okay, no, we're going to create a TikTok dance together, okay? We're going to do that. Young people are doing, okay? This is a big one, too. Finding a tribe that heals you and lifts you up. There are so many negative messages sent out nowadays by mass media, also as well as people who are not of goodwill, people of ill will, and people who see superficial things as being really important. So it's important that you have a tribe, a group of friends that can work with you, can lift you up when your spirits are beat down, and can recenter you in who you are. So, and be heart to heart with them when you need them. So you want to talk about anything about a tribe here, Reed?
Well, actually, what I want to talk about is I saw Anna DeVere Smith live in Portland decades back. And you want to learn about people and learn about relationship, listen to Anna DeVere Smith. But yeah, I mean, we are a tribe, and, you know, and always have been. And I'm going to talk about it a little more, but really the tribe, our tribe has been my family in the way my life has evolved. But yeah, Anna DeVere Smith is absolutely brilliant. And she did a one-woman show, and I was just completely blown away by her.
Great, great. That was unintentional, by the way. We did not plan that.
Now, I lit up when I saw her name.
Great, but just to show how people of like minds stay together on this, these are the sorts of things that happen when you're in amity and friendship with people. I really like this one. Friendship is the rainbow between two hearts, because rainbows are full of color, but you have to have a storm, okay? No rainbows without rain, and a lot of people get hung up on the rain and forget to look for the rainbows. The other part, I love this tree, and if I cut you off, Reed, you know how to shut me up. Trees serve as shade and shelter, but remember, the older the tree, the deeper the roots, the stronger the tree is. So a lot of times, if you're trying to nurture yourself and secure yourself under a sapling, it's not the best place to be, okay? Strength over time.
And I will just say, we'll talk about it a little more later, but at exceedingly difficult and challenging times in my young life, Michael was my rainbow and my sheltering tree. I got through things because just of his friendship and my ability to just be with him. And, you know, that at that time, the one person in the world with whom I could completely be myself.
Thank you. It's likewise on that. And I've been with you at some tough moments as well. And just the sound of your voice, the counsel, just letting me know that everything's okay. And once again, you know, with after the rain comes the rainbow. After the tough times, there will be sunshine. You will be lifted up. So it's important for us to keep centered in that as well. Okay. Let me see if I have a message popping in. And
I love that that comment. I'm getting some comments at the top of the screen.
okay, I'm going to ask you to answer those so I can stay centered where I am. Okay.
Yep.
Because I'm trying to do two things at once, and I'm kind of a linear person. So let me get back here. Okay. Friendships are not accidents or coincidences. I call accidents or coincidences. I call them coordinated incidents. When I met Reed, it was at a very important time for me to meet Reed. When I've met other people in my life, it was at a very important time for me to meet them. And I didn't always understand how this person arrived when they did. But after a period of reflection and thought, I realized how important it was for me to have met these people and for them to carry me. So friendship is not an accident, and it really is the greatest gift of life.
Yeah, when you say that, one of the things I learned over the years is if you keep yourself open to experience, open to people, you can find what you need. For all the challenges I've had, I consider myself stunningly fortunate because, you know, whenever I've needed something, starting with, you know, finding Michael up there on the 8th floor, I've found, you know, somehow or other, I've found what I need. And that's kind of why I'm standing today.
Right. And so I say those are coordinated incidents that somebody at a higher plane, a higher level, intentionally had us meet in a certain time, in a certain place, under certain situations that created this friendship and allowed it to flourish, grow, and sustain itself. So that's been big for me. Thank you for sharing that. But Reed, I'll tell you, and I've told you this before, I've received much more from me than I think from you than I think I ever gave you. So I still owe you a little bit.
We can argue about that. That can be a disagreement.
We'll do that in person, okay? We won't take up time, okay? Again, the Bible says in Proverbs that a sweet friendship refreshes the soul, and I know my spirit is always lifted when I'm with my friend or when I talk with my friend, because in friendship there's unity, strength, joy, and most importantly, love.
Yeah. I mean, you know, not to get too dense about it, but we're social organisms, and we need connection, we need friendship, we need love to survive, to be anything like what we can be. And, you know, through just whatever, 5.5 decades, Michael has been that for me.
I'm only 19 years old, so don't even go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
True friendships are found in the little things, and this really reflects on my experience with Reed and a number of other people, and a couple of people in the room. You know, I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Joyce Moore. I see you in here. Mayor Vasquez, I see you in here. You have been with me on some everyday events that have offered so many deep meetings and let me know how respected and loved we are. And when you feel that way as an individual, you're more able to give that to other people. There's times, and we'll talk about this a little later, Rita and I, as friends, can sit with each other for an unlimited amount of time and not really saying a whole lot to each other. It's kind of a connection and a communication on a different level. So if you want to follow that up, Reed, just jump in.
Yeah, I mean, we can sit, and also we can never stop talking. Sort of in the most unlikely of experiences, you find themselves. 23 years ago, we drove to Taunton, Mass to pick up, it's about 170 miles from my house, to pick up my wife's wedding dress. And that drive down and back was just one of the best days of my life. We hadn't seen each other for a long time. And, you know, the fetching of the wedding dress, hours in the car, and it went in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I remember that day as well. And that was an incredible weekend that I spent with you, and just honored that I could be there and make it and share that with you. Okay. Definitely. That was a big thing, but just the time we spent together on that journey, round trip. It almost made me wish you had to drive to Florida to go get going, but your wife would have noticed we hadn't made it back yet. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Would have cut things really short.
Yes. Friends or family that we get to choose. This is big. I'll say early on, and we'll come back to it later, both Rita and I had some interesting family dynamics as we were coming up. And so the fact that we were conscious about choosing each other lifted us at some times when our relationships with our relatives were not as healthy or strong as they might have been, okay? Reed brought me back a smile, some hope, some courage when I most needed it. And so I was just speaking to this, I almost don't, words fail me, okay? So Reed, once again, you want to talk about choices at all?
It is a choice. And, you know, there's the whole thing of the family of birth and the family of choice. I mean, I did not have good relationships with my parents, and they're dead over 20 years. And my relationship with my sister is strained. And, you know, I use the term brother, and there are people who are brothers, but in a very true sense, in the true sense of family, Michael is my brother. Michael is my family. I mean, my family on this planet is Michael and my wife, Judith. And it's the family of choice. And that's what keeps us going. And it's, to me, it is no less valid than, you know, the genetic and blood connections.
John D., how are we doing on time?
Well, we're probably approaching the end, but
all right, that's great. I know this conversation between he and I, you can see how strong it is, but what I would like to do is I've got a short video clip to show, and then he and I will wrap up with a few words, okay?
Sure.
Is that okay, John? All right. So I don't know if any of you have seen this picture of Maxwell and Finnegan, okay? There's actually a video attached to this, and I'm hoping that it shows okay through my technological confusion from time to time. But I want you to notice the expressions on these young men's faces and their physical reaction to each other. So let's see if I can do this. And oh, I forgot to start the presentation. Okay, so let me get back over here. Yeah, I think I forgot to start the presentation. I was showing it from my screen instead of from the PowerPoint. Yes, I got it. Let's go.
If you want, I actually was able to pull it up.
Okay, I've got it here. Here we go.
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
As we all stay home, don't forget to stay active, stay cuddly, stay distanced, stay healthy.
I'm not able to see it, just to let you know.
Reed, can you see it?
No,
Fran, you are just adorable.
it's cut off.
Okay.
There we go. Now it's back.
Let me get you back to start here.
I'm still not able to see it, but I see the picture.
My
Yeah.
friend, you are just adorable.
Yeah, I've got the picture, not the video.
Yeah, okay, okay. Well, more technological challenges, so I'll freeze that up. Anyway, it's a picture of two young toddlers in New York City who see each other, who haven't seen each other in a while, and their joy for each other, their love for each other is readily apparent in that still photograph. And you can look up that video on your own, and I'll be respectful of time so we can get to the finish line. Back in about 65, excuse me, two 10-year-old kids, a Jewish kid and a tall, gangly black kid, lived 2 floors apart in a public housing project in Brooklyn. And we woke up and we realized we're in the same class. We live in the same building, 2 floors apart. And somehow we found out we love baseball, okay? We grew close enough that we could hang out, play games, watch sports on TV, or just walk and talk for hours, not even speaking, and be okay. At that time, I know I had no idea that the friendship would last 55 years plus. It's been tested by cross-country moves, parent and family issues, a divorce on both of our parts, and some health challenges that Reed has gone through that have at times driven me to tears and had me send prayers up in support of him and to help pull him through it. And I'm glad he's here with me today. And it takes a long time to grow an old friend. And Reed, I'm glad to call you an old friend, emphasis on old for you, because you're a couple of months older than me. Here's the photo of us when we visited him a number of years ago. This is a replica of a photo that we took at our junior high school graduation in 1968. A sign like that with big smiles, and we decided we needed to replicate that. He hasn't lost one hair off his head, and I've lost all of mine, but it's okay. It's rooted in love and not jealousy. So I'll let Reed close it out if he has anything to say.
That picture is actually sitting behind the camera in my living room.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's out in our living room. Judith had it framed, and
Okay.
I see it every day.
Great.
It's impossible to describe what Michael has meant to me. There was a period of my life when the only person I felt that I could be myself with was Michael. Our walks to and from school were just pure salvation for me. And I mean, there's been an odd synchronicity in our lives. We even got divorced relatively around the same time and met our current partners relatively around the same time. And he just means everything to me, knowing that he's out there. It's what carries you through. I mean, I've done a lot in my life. I've had an incredibly fortunate life, but what really gets you through are those friendships and connections. I mean, I had 2 major severs in my life. One when I sort of walked away from high school in New York and moved to Maine, and the other when I got divorced and sort of walked out of my life because that needed to happen. And what has always come with me, virtually the only thing that's come with me through all of them, is my relationship with Michael. It's really hard for me to put it in words, although I seem to find a lot of words and run on sentences. So I'm going to be respectful and stop babbling.
Well, thank you, Reed. Once again, to center it back in this event today, when you talk about amity, I think our friendship could be a poster for that. And when you talk about race amity, we both grew up in the era of the civil rights movement in the 60s and 70s, and there were a lot of fractures among people who didn't necessarily look like each other. There was a lot of division, and we're seeing some of that today as well. But what gives me hope is that our young people are not centered in race as much as we were years ago, I think. Some of them are, but not on the level they were. And it gives me hope for the future. It gives me courage that we'll move forward, and this too shall pass. So thank you for joining us today. And I think that will call an end to our workshop now.
Thank you for this opportunity.
No, definitely. Thank you both, Michael and Reed. And Michael, thank you for bringing Reed in. This is quite a model of friendship that, we can enjoy, and also, to analyze and maybe model, and other people can take this example to heart. But thank you for bringing Reed in. Reed, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I think this goes very well with our message of race amity, and we hopefully we'll maybe hear from you guys again. There's more stories to share. So
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So